Alright, Shalom, giving all praises and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachachodash, double honours unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone of all one, Shalom, unto the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel, and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. I am the brother Kalab from the GMS UK, London Forecasters Camp, coming back with another lesson to help edify those of which I spoke of. So in this lesson, I want to go into the topic of Jake trimming their ways to seek love, because a couple of weeks ago I was watching this show with some of the brothers. It was made in 2012, and it was called Make Bradford British, which was about them getting a camera crew and rounding up various people of different ethnicities in that area, and then putting them together and see how they would interact with each other. Now, it was typical. I mean, you can already understand without even watching their program how it's gonna go. Where you have the Edomites who don't want nothing to do with the Jakes, and then you got Jakes who are trying to seek after the affection of the Edomites, like as if they're begging for it like a dog, begging for acceptance and validation from Esau, because that's what it really boils down to: validation and acceptance. A lot of our people want that. They've got a longing in their hearts just to be treated just once equally by master, equally on the same footing. That's what a lot of Jake are looking for, which is folly in itself, because we are actually above these people. They act like they're superior to Jake. Edomites do all this shit, try and write Jake off, saying that we're only three-fifths of a man, we've got low IQ and all this kind of, bullshit. But the fact of the matter is, according to the scriptures, we're actually above the Edomites. Let me prove that for you. This is Deuteronomy 7 verse 6. Hang on, let's get this on the screen. This book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6, it says, "For thou art this is the Most High speaking unto his nation of people, which is the Israelites. It says, "For thou art a holy people unto the Lord Yahweh thy power. The Lord Yahweh thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all the people that are upon the face of this earth. The Lord Yahweh did not set his love upon you, nor choose you because you were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people, but because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, hath the Lord Yahweh brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt." So that clearly shows us that as Israelites, we're above all people upon the face of the earth. But because we're under the curses right now of Deuteronomy 28, 16 on down, it doesn't look like we're a chosen, special, holy and royal people. It looks like the quite the opposite. And with Esau's, media and marketing often trying to portray Israelites in a very negative light, a lot of our people have bought into those negative stereotypes and those proverbs and those bywords. So going back to this clip here, right? This is one of the clips from the show. This is one of the characters who was in it. His name is Desmond, right? And the sad thing about this guy is that he is the epitome of what someone might, in the old days, they might have called him, a bounty bar or a coconut, meaning that he's black on the outside and white on the inside. Those are often common terms and slurs thrown at Jake, who usually is thrown at Jake who are seeking acceptance and validation from Edomites all the time. Now, it's a sad case because this guy, in the show itself, he clearly said he wishes he was born white. And, that's a sad statement to make, because that shows complete unawareness of the scriptures and the Most High Heavenly Father's will. and who the Most High views and values. Because if he knew who he really was, that he was, an Israelite, the prince of the power, if he was able to come to the knowledge of this truth, a lot of his low self-esteem, acceptance seeking and validating issues will be mitigated and resolved. But this goes to show you the power of the Heavenly Father, because not every Jake can come to this truth. They might hear the truth, but it doesn't sit well with them, it doesn't resonate with them, and they don't really come into it. But thankfully, we know of the hopeful elect who have received this word and this truth. Once we receive this word and this truth, there's no way in hell we would ever want to be one of the other nations, be it a heathen, like an Ishmaelite, a Moabite, or an Ammonite, or whoever, or the wicked nation themselves, the nation who the Most High calls the wicked, which is the Edomites. If any Jake in their right mind who knew this truth would never in a million years want to trade this to be an Edomite, because these Edomites are cursed too. Don't get it twisted. Just because you don't see them getting jacked up right now, it doesn't mean that they're not a cursed people too. They're cursed too, and the Most High is going to bring their curse into play when his son Yahushua returns and destroys Esau's system. Because this is the last rulership that Esau's ever going to have. He's going to be taken out of power, and he'll never rise up again. In fact, all he's going to know is hardship, bondage, and slavery until the day when he fulfills his punishment after his 1,000 years, and they're done away with. Now, we don't know exactly how the Most High is going to deal with them, because at the end of the day, their spirits created by the Most High. We don't know whether they're going to be, mingled in with the other nations, or what the Most High is going to do. But the fact of the matter is that the nation of Edom will be no more. Let's prove that in Obadiah 1 and 18. Obadiah 1 and 18 says, "And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them, and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord Yahweh have spoken it." So those are scary words. When the Lord says he's going to make an end of you, boy, it's not really much you can do, man. You just have to accept your lot and face the sound of the music. But Esau's not going to do that. He's going to fight tooth and claw to preserve his rulership on this earth. But through the Spirit, you can already feel that Esau's lost grip of his control of the earth, which is why his New World Order agendas are looking sloppy now. They're looking sloppier than ever. Forgive me for getting tongue-tied there. He doesn't have the precision and skill which he used to have in years gone by, when he was doing his false flags and doing these things to try and push his New World Order agenda. But anyway, let's just round this out. Going back to this character here, it's a pitiful case, man. I'm going to play this clip, right?
Asian Army Band, and today he's performing at a church service.
Hey, I'll tell you what we plays. There's a black boy who plays in their band.
Edomite there.
Fuck, we know.
That Edomite there, he was very racist. When he saw this guy, Desmond, the first thing that came out of his mouth was, "Come here, you black bastard." And he's laughing and joking about it. And the sad thing is that this character, Desmond, was laughing and joking about it too. But really he was hurt, because he didn't like that derogatory term. But in order to keep Esau happy, he was all grinning teeth and smiling. And that's basically, he, out of his own mouth, he said that's how he's been his whole life, just trying to fit in and find acceptance. Now look at the degenerate waste man that he's trying to find acceptance from. That same Edomite, in the show, he does these calendars where he sits around naked and lets a photographer take photographs of him to put in some calendar. And this is the man that Jake is trying to seek affection from, a guy that's basically degenerate. Why the hell would you sit around naked and let someone photograph you to put in some camera? That's some Edomite shit, man. Jake in their right mind don't be doing stuff like that. But the sad thing is that this Jake who is seeking to fit in with Esau, he starts doing the same thing as well, like walking around in his underwear with a guitar and having a photographer take pictures of him. That's just some bullshit, man. That's just silly, man. That's, why trimmest thy ways to seek love. I'm going to get that precept in a second, but let's play this clip more.
Oh, please, apparently, there's more to it than that, and I'm learning.
Ridiculous. See, this is sad, man. That's a prime example of Jake desperately trying to fit in with this Edomite. Why would you lower yourself to their level? Why don't you elevate to a higher level and come back to this truth, man? Because as I said, Deuteronomy 7:6 on down, we are above all these people. We don't need to seek affection and acceptance from them. But this is a sad thing. Jake has got low self-esteem, man. Jake has got very low self-esteem. Jake needs to lift up their heads, man. Hang on. Just get this precept here. Why? This is Jeremiah 2:33. Jeremiah 2:33 says, "Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways." So trimming your ways to seek love means like you're cutting off parts of yourself. You're trying to fit in. I don't mean literally cutting off parts of yourself, but there's certain aspects of your character that you'll try to distance yourself from just so you can fit in with these other nations and be accepted. And that's a very sad state to be in. We shouldn't be in that state, but unfortunately, that's Jake in the world for you. So we that are of the hopeful elected in this truth, we need to actually, give thanks to the Lord that He's elevated us and taken us out of that low-level mindset and brought us into the knowledge that we are indeed a holy and special people that are above all people upon the face of the earth. I'll just play the end of the clip and close it out.
There's nothing bad now, bring it all back. There's nothing bad now. Oh, come on, you're a big fella now.
See, that he's crying because years ago he got beaten up by some racist Edomites, and he went to the visit the place where the assault took place, and it triggered a lot of trauma in him, and he's crying. And this Edomite, is trying to act all friendly and stuff, but this Edomite don't give a shit about him. Sad, man. And this is, Jake's traumatized, man. Jake's got mental and emotional scars from the shit that Esau's done to us. But yet we're still, not we, because I'm not trying to seek affection from Esau. But Jake in the world is still trying to seek love from Esau, who's never going to love them. It's like the ultimate unrequited love situation. If ever you've been with a girl and you like her more than she likes you, that often that's called an unrequited love, because the more you do for her, she'll never appreciate you and value you the way you want to be valued. So, that's dealing with women. It's a sad case where Jake is dealing that way with the other nation or other nations, because it's not just Esau that Jake tries to seek affection from. Now, Esau's the primary one. But, you've got Jake who get up into Islam. They try to seek acceptance from those Ishmaelites. They never get it. They never get it, or whichever culture Jake tries to assimilate themselves into. Them cultures, all them nations always look down on Jake and they're never fully accepted. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, as they say, which is a sad state. So let's just finish this out.
Is this still feel bad now? Oh, come on, you're a big fella now.
Yeah, he's a big fella, but he's got a lifetime's worth of trauma thanks to the ill treatment from you Edomites, man. So that's all I've got to say on this, man. It's a sad case where Jake trims their way to seek love from a nation that will never love them. Get one more precept. Just one more precept to close out on. Bear with me. This is what the Bible says about you Edomites, right? Amos 1 and 11. It says, "Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever." So there you go. Esau kept his wrath forever. So these Edomites, they can't be rehabilitated. They can't be reasoned with or bargained with. They're just straight up the wicked, according to the Bible. So the only thing to do is to the best of your ability, distance yourself from them as much as possible, and let the Lord deal with them, rather than trying to assimilate and fit in and gain acceptance and, appreciation from them. You're never going to fully get it. Just reminds me of some situations I was in when I was a younger guy. When I was a lot younger, I used to hang around with a group of Edomites, and it was the same situation. They'll keep you around because in their mind, it kind of makes them feel like they're not racist because they've got a so-called black friend, but they never see you as an equal on their level. You're always the odd one out, so to speak. That's how these Edomites are. So yeah, for you, Jake, that are coming out of the world and coming into this truth, learn to love yourself. And when I say love yourself, I don't mean like, getting into pride or arrogance, but just like lift up your head and don't be seeking validation from Esau, because Esau's below us. Point blank period. They're the lowest of the low. They're the basest of all men. Let's get down. I'll close out on that one. Job 30. I'll close out on this one. Start from verse 7. It says, actually start up. Start from 1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have despised. Sorry, forgive me, wrong word. Whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former times, desolate and waste. Yeah, that's when the Most High took their senses from them, and they started behaving like wild men, and were hanging around in the bushes for a period of time. That's what Esau went through, who cut up. Right, verse 3. For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former times, desolate and waste, who cut up mallows by the bushes, and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys and in the caves of the earth and in the rocks. Among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men, and they were viler than the earth. So that's what these Edomites are. So, get it into your head that they're not above us, they're actually below us. And really, they're going to be seeking acceptance and validation from us in the kingdom. But right now, they're acting as if their shit don't stink. But the Most High has already done exposed them and proven that their shit does indeed stink. So yeah, don't be seeking affection from these Edomites, because at the end of the story, you're not going to get it. Point blank period. Right? So with that, I want to give all praises and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of great millstone of all well, and shalom unto the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel, and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. Shalom now.